All right, welcome back to part 6, I believe, of how to play unfair. Now, this is kind of a good thing because you could technically say that we've taken a one episode per step, although that's not true. We're going a little bit faster now. But we're on step number 3 now. Normally, this is the last chance the players have to do something before the end of the round. Notice how Park Step 4 is colored differently than any of these other Park Steps. That's because Park Step 4 is only enabled when some players play certain event cards. Since no one's played an event card, a green event card this round, back here during the event stage, to activate this 4th Park Step, this is the last Park Step in the round. So this is the starting player and this player number 2's last chance to do one of those 5 special actions before we get to the guest step, where we figure out how many guests want to come to the park, how many guests we can let into the park, and then how much money they pay us. So this is kind of the Hail Mary. This is the last chance during this round, and players have to do something. Now, of course, this is only the first round. There's 6 rounds in the game, so don't panic. But it is kind of time to think seriously about what really needs to get done. Of course, the first person to do their action is going to be the starting player. And they already have a pretty good setup. They have 2 attractions, 3 icons across the 2 attractions, and 5 stars in total so far. Now, looking at their blueprint, they're still going to want to build guest services in the future. But they're also thinking about making money right now, because they can build these later. I mean, as you've noticed, most guest services don't give you stars. They just give you icons. So this player is going to go ahead and make a tough decision. They could do loose change and get $2 because they have 2 attractions, but that's not worth it for them. They could draw 2 cards from any of the decks and pick one and then discard one or discard both. And we feel like that's the best idea, because instead of paying more money from the bank to build something in their hand or from the market, they could just prepare themselves for the next round, for the start of the next round, by drawing 2 event cards and keeping 1. Now remember that you always draw an event card at the beginning of each round, but if you've drawn some cards from the previous round, you have those in your hand as well, and that makes it extra powerful because you can do more stuff. Now this player knows, the starting player knows, that event cards often give you the ability to build things for free. So instead of paying to build something now, they might be able to draw one of these cards and build something for free later. So that's what they're going to do. The starting player is going to look here. This lets them reveal the top card of the park deck and build it in their park immediately for free. That's a pretty good card. This one lets them reveal the top of the park deck and simply put it into their hand. So they're going to go ahead and keep this one, discard the other one. So they discard the one they don't want to keep. They place the card that they want to keep in their hand, and they don't show it to other players. They can't play it, they just chose it. That's their action. Now we're back to this player because we're going around the table clockwise and everyone gets a chance to do their 3rd park action for this round. And this player is sitting pretty. They've got a money-making machine over here in the form of a snack seller staff member. They've got a main gate going with a 3-star attraction and a couple icons. They also need to decide what to do. Now they're a little bit scared because they saw a starting player draw an event card, and they're thinking they don't have an event card for the start of the next round until they draw an event card, so they're going to be at a disadvantage. They're wondering if they should maybe draw an event card, and they don't have any blueprints either. They don't know where they're going. Like, they don't have a goal, you know? But should they waste an entire event? You know, should they waste an entire... They're having difficulties deciding. They're going to go ahead and do it, though. They're going to draw 2 blueprints and keep 1 or none. Now, both of them are... One's easy, one's medium. The one on the left said they need a food outlet with a pirate theme icon on it. And then they also could get a bonus for having the swinging ship. Now, the swinging ship has a little icon next to it because it's a unique attraction. There's only one of them in the entire deck, the entire pirate deck. You can see it's from the pirate deck because it has a P. The other one is a little bit harder, and it requires a thrill ride with a guest services upgrade and a food outlet. But interestingly, both of them require a food outlet. So you could accomplish this blueprint over here and this food outlet as long as this thrill ride had a guest services upgrade and this food outlet had a pirate theme icon. You could accomplish both blueprints at the same time. But you can only keep one, remember. He has to draw 2 and choose 1 to keep or none. So this second player is thinking about going with this blueprint because it's easy and because they don't have a throw ride yet. They only have a leisure ride in the form of a monorail. So they go ahead and discard the one that they don't want to keep, and they place this one in their hand. Alright. So now both players have had a chance to do an action. Since we haven't activated the 4th park step, because no one played a special event card that said so, the starting player moves the token all the way to the guest step. Now, there is a specific order of things that must be done during this step, but everybody does this step simultaneously. So each player now focuses on the existing park, and they count up first how many stars are in the park on open attractions. Now, in the future, there might be some closed attractions, but we're not going to worry about that right now. 2 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5 stars. This player has 5 stars. After they've added up how many stars are in the park, they check to make sure it's equal or less than the guest capacity. This is how many guests want to come to the park. This is how many guests can get into the park. Since 5 is less than 15, they're good. They can let everybody in. Then they get $1 for each guest coming into the park. So since they had 5 guests wanting to come and they can let them all in, they get 5 coin and they add it to their stack. Now let's look over at this player here. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 stars in his park. That's less than his maximum guest capacity, so he can get all 4 guests to come in and pay. So instead of 5, it's only 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can add that to his stack. But it also says at the bottom here, once per guest step for his snack center. That means we're in the guest step on only one time in this step, but he can do it each round. He has a special action. He can choose an open ride attraction in his park. This ride is most certainly open because it's facing up. And he can gain extra coin equal to twice its star value. Its star value is 3. Twice its star value is 6. He can get 6 extra coin. Comes over to the bank, takes 6 extra coin. Now this didn't mean that more guests came in. It just means because he had a snack setter, he got more money from the guests that entered. However, he also has this pinned event card, which means that his park gains 8 extra stars this round. Now remember, he had 4 stars to begin with. 4 plus 8 is 12. 12 is still underneath the guest capacity of 15. So he can let those extra 8 guests come in, and he can get $1 for each of them. So he gets 8 extra dollars, or 8 extra coins. Alright, that is the guest step. It's just adding up stars, making sure you don't exceed your guest capacity, getting coins for those guests, then getting extra coins for any special abilities or cast members or event cards you have. And now the starting player moves this marker once all the players have said that they're done getting the money to the cleanup step, or the cleanup phase, whichever you want to call it. And in the cleanup step, we have to follow a very specific order of things. It's handily listed right here on our round summary. First thing to do is to discard any pinned event cards. That means a green event card that was played back here at the beginning of the round, but it had a push pin icon on it. This one now needs to get discarded. Finally, it's going to go meet its other friends in the discard pile here. Alright, next step, it says we're going to turn up any face-down park cards in your park. That means sometimes events can cause the park cards to be flipped over. That means the attraction's still there, but it's closed. Thankfully, all of our attractions in both parks are open, so we don't have to worry about flipping any cards back to their right side up side. Then it says clear and refill the market. The market, of course, are these 6 cards right here, and at the end of every round, we have to collect those, put them into the discard pile, and then put 6 new cards out. Now, this does a couple of things. One, it provides more variety in the next round, so that people have new cards to choose from, because chances are, if nobody built from the market, nobody paid the price for any of the things in the market, they probably weren't interesting enough. So it kind of mixes things up a bit. But it also does something else very important. It also creates sort of a ticking time bomb situation where if you don't get it now, it goes into the discard pile and you miss it. So it also creates a bit of a tension. Alright, so now we've refilled the market. Let's see what next happens during the cleanup step. Discard down to 5 cards in hand. Now this is where the hand limit comes into play. The cards that you have in your hand can go over 5 during the round, but during the cleanup phase, you have to get rid of any extra cards that go over the total of 5 maximum allowed cards. Now the cards that count are green event cards and red park cards. Those purplish showcase cards do not count towards your hand limit. Blueprint cards do not count towards your hand limit. The round summary card does not count towards your hand limit. The alone card does not count towards your hand limit. And any of the cards that are how you paid for and put into your park do not count toward your hand limit. Just the cards that are face down, hidden from other players, that you can play during the game. The green event cards and the red park cards. Now you can see here he has 1 event card, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red cards. So he has 6 cards in his hand. He needs to get rid of 1. Now he's probably not going to get rid of the green event card because that's powerful. But remember, the flagpole is only useful at the very end once you're ready to put the finishing touch on your attraction. He's going to go ahead and discard his flagpole because it's not even a guest services upgrade, so he's just going to go ahead and place that in the discard pile, and now he has 5 cards in his hand and he's safe. Back over here, remember blueprints aren't necessary. Well, they're not necessary and they're not included in your hand total. So this player is going to go ahead and count his cards. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in hand. So this player's well within the limit and they're safe. Alright, and final step is to advance the starting player marker. This is the starting player marker. This player is no longer the starting player and now moves clockwise to the next player. Of course, this is going to go over here. And now this player is the starting player. Now that we've completed all the steps in the cleanup step, the starting player, who is now this person, picks up this token, moves it all the way back to the beginning of the round lineup, and moves it onto the event step again. We've started a new round. Time to draw event cards. Guess who draws first? The starting player. Then, moving clockwise, every other player draws an event card. And of course, it's okay that we're going over the limit, because we passed that phase. We're done. You can get as many cards as you want this round, just as long as you discard down to 5 once you reach the cleanup phase at the end of the round. Everyone's drawn an event card, so the starting player right here moves the move marker to the city event spot. And, oh wait, we forgot about this back during the guest phase. I completely forgot about it. Each park scores 3 extra stars. Oh my. Alright, so remember, this guy scored 3 plus 1 is 4. But he also had that special media event card, which gave him 8. So 8 plus 4 is 12. And this is saying that you score 3 extra, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that's within the limit of 15. So this person actually deserves 3 more coin because of the cleanup phase. That's my fault. And this player had 2, 4, 5, plus another 3 is 8. That's well within their limit as well. Alright. I forgot to do that. We have to pay attention to that. That's why everybody has to know, keep thinking about other things. Alright, this player, the starting player from right here, is going to flip over this card. This is now round 2 because there are 2 city cards in the discard pile. Remember, these are like the sand timer. Once these cards run out, the rounds are over. Alright, this says a bank error. Gain 5 coins. Of course, you can read the flavor text at the bottom. It's kind of funny. Alright, gain 5 coins. It just doesn't say during this particular step, so it means immediately. So each player gets 1 of these. This player gets 5, and this player gets 5. Alright, now we don't have to worry about this anymore during the round because it doesn't affect anything else. Just everybody got 5 coins. So you can see why these blue cards are good. They generally provide good things for our park. Now, this player is definitely rolling in the money, but this player is not doing too bad either. Starting player now, having flipped over the city event card, moves to the event play card, and this player now has a chance to play an event card first. So this player looks at his event card. He only has 1, because he didn't draw any in the previous round. He just got the 1 that he got at the beginning of this round. It says you can draw up to 3 blueprint cards, and then choose when to keep. You may also discard a blueprint you know. Oh, well this is a chance for this player to get another blueprint, maybe discard this blueprint he already has, so that it matches closer to with what his park already has. Or he could choose to dismiss a staff member in any park. Now, of course, this player over here doesn't have a staff member, so couldn't play it against this player. He could play it against himself if he wanted to discard his staff member without using up one of his actions later during the park step, but why would he want to discard a cast member from his own park that's giving him money? So this player is going to go ahead and play this top part of the action card. He's going to go ahead and discard it, so that way everybody can see what he just did. and he draws 3 blueprint cards. 1, 2, 3. That's all that there were left in that stack. Now this player can look at all 3 of them and choose one to keep. He's going to want to choose one that's not too hard to achieve and one that matches what he maybe already has in his park. He's going to need a theater, a food island, and a sideshow for this park. Now the reason why he's only looking at the top right now is because if you can't complete the top, you can't even begin to think about completing the bonus target, which is the bottom. You have to complete the top section to qualify for the bonus points by completing this bottom section. You first have to finish the top. This one requires a really complicated thrill ride, and this one requires another thrill ride. So he's going to need a lot of thrill rides in his park if he's going to do anything here. Theater, food outlet, sideshow. Well, right now he only has a leisure ride. So he has to decide what is he going to do. Well, this bonus target requires a leisure ride, and he already has a leisure ride. So as long as he has one of each type of attraction in his park by the end of the game, he could get this one. So this player is going to go ahead and keep that blueprint, because he thinks he can finish that by the end of the game. Discards those 2. But now that the draw pile for blueprints is gone, he's going to go ahead and shuffle that deck up and put it back here. Alright, so that was the starting player using the special power by playing the top of his event card. Now, everybody else has a chance to play an event card. This player has 2 event cards because he drew one last round plus the one at the beginning of this round. And he has to decide whether to choose a card from the market and put it into his hand, or reveal the top card of the park deck and build it in his park immediately for free. Or you could do something bad to his opponent. Now here it says you can choose an upgrade. Well, his opponent doesn't have an upgrade, so forget about that. But here, he could choose a type of ride attraction. He could choose leisure ride, for example. And he could then choose a competitor, which would be his only competitor in this game, and then close all attractions of that type. So he could cause his opponent to have to flip his card over, and his opponent wouldn't be able to get any use out of that attraction this round. That's powerful. He could basically shut his opponent down from getting a lot of money. Now it has a red icon of a looking glass. This card has a red icon because they're bad. Red is bad, and when you do bad things to other people. But it can be blocked. So if the opponent had a action card in his hand that had a blue matching icon, he could block it by discarding that event card to block it. But of course we know that our opponent doesn't have any more event cards. They just played their last one. So we know that anything bad that we do to them, they can't prevent. So we're going to go ahead and play this bad event on our opponent, and then play this good event on us. But we can only do one at a time. So we're going to go ahead and close our opponent's attraction. So we're going to go ahead and follow the rules here. We're going to announce leisure rides are closing. And then you have to announce a competitor. So we're going to announce starting player. And starting player has to flip their leisure ride over. Alright. That's not a good start for the starting player this round. Now, this player has just played an event card, so it goes back around. Everyone has a chance. This player says pass because they don't have anything to play during the event card. Comes back to this person. Now, the reason this person can play a second event card is because not everybody has passed in turn. Remember, I said only move on when everybody's passed. Well, if not everybody's passed, you can still play an event card when it comes back to you, but only one event action at a time. So this player can now play this good thing for them. Reveal the top card of the park deck, build it in your park immediately for free, or put it in your hand. So this player is going to go ahead and discard that card because it's not a pinned event. Going to go ahead and take the top card of the park deck, look at it. It's an upgrade, so they can definitely build it in their park for free. Which one do they want to put it on? The Florida's roller coaster or the leisure ride attraction? Now, they normally would want to put on the leisure ride because the leisure ride already has 2 icons. By adding a third icon, you can bump it up a lot of point value. It also says after you build this upgrade, you may gain 5 coins. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to go ahead and add it to this attraction. Now, of course, when you build upgrades, they actually go underneath and behind the attraction that you're upgrading. They don't have to pay the price because that's what it said. It said he can build it for free on his attraction. So he now has a free pirate theme upgrade on his water slide, and he can get that 5 coin because it says when you build it. There we go. So now he has some extra money and a nice upgrade. Alright, but he now is out of event cards. So when it comes back around to this person passing, this player also has to pass. Now that everyone's passed and turned, the starting player moves the token to the start of Park Step 1. Now, we are still in round 2, but it's going to be the same thing. In turn, starting with the starting player, everyone is going to go around the table and have a chance to do one action. Either draw 2, keep 1 or none. Discard 1, draw 5, keep 1. Either build from the market, build from the hand, do loose change, or discard a card. Alright. This player, the starting player, wants to go ahead and start meeting some of his blueprint requirements. He's going to need one of almost every type of attraction. And to meet this blueprint, he's going to need a food outlet with a pirate theme icon. So he's going to look at his hand and see what he has. He has some upgrades, but not a pirate theme, he has a robot theme. He has more upgrades, but he just needs attractions at this point. So he's going to look at the market. He doesn't see any attractions there that he can build. So this player knows that he's in trouble because he has money, but he doesn't have any open attractions. He needs to build an attraction. So he's going to go ahead and discard a card from his hand that he doesn't like. For example, that flagpole. Flagpoles, as you can see, are not useful early in the game, but they're useful later in the game. He's going to discard it. He's going to be able to draw 5 of these, and hopefully there's an attraction in there somewhere that he can add to his hand. Remember, he doesn't get it built for free with this action, but he can add it to his hand, which means he kind of gets to jump ahead in the marketplace, and maybe he can build it later. Ooh, there's a junior vice president. There's also an amusement arcade, which is a sideshow, which is one of the things he needs for his blueprint. There's also another sideshow. There's a theater. This is getting tough. So here's his decisions. He can hire a cast member, which gives him 6 victory points at the end of the game. He can spend a lot of money for a 2-icon sideshow, which lets you immediately build an icon onto it after you build it for free. He can do this, which gives him extra money, costs less, but doesn't have as many icons. But it does have an extra star that this one doesn't. Or he could build a theater for 7 with 1 icon and build a robot theme on this attraction for free. Well, he has a robot. Let's see here. He's going to probably want one of these because it's just tricky. He knows he has a robot theme in his hand. So if he builds this one in a future turn, he'll automatically have 2 icons on it. But this one already has 2 icons on it. But you get this one for the cost of 7, this one for the cost of 13. This is a better deal. 2 icons and a star for just 7 coins. This one doesn't let you build an extra upgrade, but it gives you extra money for guest step. He's going to go ahead and build this theater, and hopefully he can build the sideshow in the future. He's going to put that into his hand right over here, and then all of these cards have to go into the discard pile. Now, of course, everybody else will be able to see what cards he's discarding, and so they won't be able to know what card he chose, but they'll know what cards he didn't choose, and that's part of the strategy of this game, is paying attention to what cards go in the discard pile. You can kind of keep track of maybe what other players do have and what they certainly don't have, because there's only one of each kind of attraction in each deck. Now, there might be more than one sideshow, but there's only ever going to be one freak show, for example. So there's different types of sideshows and different types of theaters. Well, that's his action. But now it comes around, because he's the starting player, and it's our turn to take an action. Now, we have plenty of money, and all of our attractions are open, so the sky's the limit here. Do we still want to maximize our money? Well, we've got money. Let's see what our blueprint said. It says we need any attraction with a bunch of guest services upgrades. Well, we don't have any guest services upgrades on any of our rides, so maybe it's time to add some. But we definitely want to do a guest services upgrade that gives us a star, so we can kind of, be meeting a blueprint and a blueprint requirement and a money requirement at the same time. Let's look at guest services upgrades here. Are there any? No, there are not. So we're kind of stuck here. Unless we could do this pirate theme, we could build a pirate theme onto this Fortress roller coaster, and so both of our attractions have pirate themes. It's an idea. Or we could build a guest services upgrade and it wouldn't help us immediately. Or we could build something from the deck. These special ones can only be built on thrill rides. They give us stars, and they can go onto this thrill ride right here. We could build a pretty fancy thrill ride. For 10 coin, we could get 2 stars. That's not a bad idea. That's 5 coins per star. Here you'd be paying 6 coins for a star. And over here you'd be paying 12 coins for a star, 15 coins for a 7. So this is a pretty good deal. So we're going to go ahead and build this. And remember, it slides behind your existing attraction, and you pay the price to the bank, and that's our turn. All right, so now, since we built from the marketplace, there's a hole. The starting player is going to flip over a new card to fill that market hole, and both players have had a chance to play, so now the starting player moves it to Park Step 2, and now it's their turn to go again. They're going to need something this turn, or else they're not going to make any money, because they're only going to have that 1 star there, and that's going to earn them a measly 1 coin. And for this cast member to work, you have to have a attraction, and it specifically says a ride attraction. So they're still looking here. They could build that theater now, but they're kind of worrying because they might need they are going to need a ride attraction. They don't have any in their hand. There's none in the marketplace. But remember that blueprint which said that they need a theater, a food outlet, a slideshow, a thrill ride, and a leisure ride? Now's their chance to snag a food outlet because it's in the market. So they're going to pay the 7 coin into the bank to build this food outlet into their park. So they won't get the benefit of that staff member maybe this turn, but at least they're going to have an extra star in their park. And it says you may use an action to build a pirate theme on this attraction for free. It says use an action. So that means they'd have to use one of their park actions to do it. And since they just used their park action to purchase that thing, they're not going to be able to do it this step. But it now goes around the table, and now it's back to us. It's our turn to do something. And of course, remember, we're looking for discounts. We're looking for cheap ways to build stars. And we have a lot of stars in our park already. We're starting to worry about maybe we're going to start bumping up against the guest capacity soon. But look at this. This is a resource, and for 4 coin, we can add more guest capacity to the park. It's not going to help us immediately, but it'll help us earn more money in the future. Since we know that there's more in the deck, we might leave that alone for a while. But since we're in the middle and we still have 1 more step left to go, I think we're going to go ahead and do the wise thing and go ahead and we're still looking for guest services, and we don't have any that are going to give us stars. So I think that would be a wise decision, is we're going to go ahead and purchase this for 4 coin. We're going to go ahead and get some change in the form of 1 coin. And now our actual guest capacity is 18. So we've got a long ways to expand in stars before we worry about bumping up against that limit. Starting player flips this over to fill the hole. And now, starting player moves it to Park Step 3. Starting player now needs to decide what to do. Build, draw, discard, lose change. What are they going to do? They're going to build this theater. They're going to build this theater because they need it for a blueprint. So they're going to pay the 7. And it says they can use an action to build a robot theme with this attraction for free. Well, they're out of actions. But they're going to use their 1 action right now to purchase this from their hand. And they're going to go ahead and pay the 7 coin that they need for that. That's 5, 6, and 7. And that's their action. Now it's back to us. We have to decide what we're going to do for our action. Over here it says this staff member is worth a star, gives you 3 points at the end of the game, and it's worth a measly 3, cost only 3. We're going to build that. That's a no-brainer. Hire this staff member, add it to our left, and notice how the resources and staff members all just go to the left in order that you purchase them. So 3 coin, go to the bank immediately, and starting player fills in that market with another card. And now we just went, since we weren't the starting player, that means it's the end of players taking park steps. Nobody had an action card which activated Park Step 4, so we moved to the guest step immediately. In the guest step, it's time to add up people's stars. We start with the starting player because he's first, but people would really be doing this simultaneously in the game. 0 stars plus 1 star. We can't count any stars for this because it's closed. Plus another star makes 3 stars. 3 stars gives you 3 coins. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so this player gets 3 coins. Now their special event, it says, for any ride attractions open in your park, but they don't have any ride attractions open right now. They have a food outlet and a theater. So they're out of luck. They don't get anything more. Over here, however, this player has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 stars. 9 is less than their guest capacity of 18. So they're going to go ahead and get that full amount. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's their money right there. Alright, finally, the cleanup phase. We have to discard any pinned event cards, which there are none. Then we need to go ahead and turn up any face-down park cards in the park. So this player now can reopen their closed attraction. Then, of course, we're going to go ahead and clear and refill the market. Just like that. And then finally, everyone has to discard down to 5 cards in hand. This player only has 4 cards in their hand right now. This player only has 3. Nobody has any extra action cards to add to that total, so they're both safe. And now the starting player marker goes clockwise to the next player, which would be back to this player. This player is going to be the starting player for the new round. This starting player moves the token back to the beginning, and we're at the beginning of round 3 already. So you can see how things are beginning to pick up, because we now understand the basics of the game. But we're going to go ahead and play through the whole game through the next couple of sections of this video series.